All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Friday Night Live. I'm the Pet Man, Matt Morrow, and what a night of high school football to really kick off week one. There's just so much to talk about. I've been trying to process everything we got from Roseville Butler, from his pictures and video. So I haven't seen many scores, but the scores that I have seen and people have texted me and called me about, there are a lot of things to process in this week one. The first thing I want to say is it's week one. So we can't go too crazy on some observations. There are a lot of things that coaches, will have to take and evaluate and work out. But that being said, there's still a lot of things that happen that, um, a lot of us, didn't anticipate seeing from, both a positive and a not so positive point of view. So if you haven't watched Friday Night Live before, this show, as you see the crawl below me, post your scores, post your comments. This show is all about the fans. We talk about what you post. Um, I will fill in the gaps with our observations from games that we went to. We keep a CFI text group, and it stays very active. Um, so there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, a lot of observations that we'll talk about on this show. Friday Night Live is this time every Friday. Typically, it runs between 30 and 45 minutes. That depends on the fans, you guys' interaction, how much we talk about. And, most of the time it's just me. Sometimes the crew will jump on if they're available and they really want to get something off their chest. We've had coaches come on, we've had players come on, we've had fans come on. If you're on Twitter, I posted a link that will bring you on to the show if you want to come on and talk just like I am right now. That link is on my Twitter page. Um, a lot of you guys don't usually do it. That's okay. That's okay. Um, but I try to every now and then. We don't do it for every Friday Night Live, but sometimes when we feel like fans may want to come on and talk, this is your time to come on and talk if you feel like you want to do that. So it is on Twitter. If you don't know my Twitter, it's at Petman704 right there. You just click that link and it'll bring you into the studio. All right. That being said, we got a lot of comments in the bucket. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. All right. First of all, chat administrators first. Morrisville, yeah, 66-20 was the final score, but even in that case, per chat administrators rolling Twitter updates, it was not that close. What was it, 50? Was it 55 to nothing at halftime or 52 to nothing? That, as I said on Twitter, that's a statement by Morrisville. Davie County is usually a pretty, decent team. And to come out there and to do that to them in week one is super impressive for Coach Mayo and those guys. See, Brody Norman had a huge game. I think was it 5 touchdown passes or five, accounting for 5 touchdowns in the first half. Yeah, here you go. 52 nothing at halftime. Yeah, yeah, that's good stuff for Morrisville. And then for the Greater Metro 4 Conference, when we get to some scores, it's even more um, open than not more open, but more, I guess, space between the teams than we initially thought. Let's see. James Law says that Huff game was something. Yeah, Shay Juan texted me. He was down there at the CLT kickoff night for us, and he texted me and said, "This game is amazing." So if you don't know, Northwestern beat Huff 45-44, and Huff was up 44-24 in the second half, and Northwestern scored 21 unanswered points to win that game. And Shay Juan, he shared with me that receiver Cameron Vance was a big reason why Northwestern did so well offensively. And as I said on our Wednesday show, Football Focus Weekly, Cameron Vance was one of our top receivers at our CFI Spring Showcase. So I knew he was an explosive kid, and he can do some special things with the football in his hands. The biggest thing I take away is, first of all, Northwestern is an amazing football team. That's the first thing I take away. The second thing I take away is, I'm surprised that Northwestern put up so many points on Huff's defense. I have been a proponent for Huff's defense for the longest, and that speaks a lot about Northwestern and what they can do offensively for sure. But we've got Coach, I was about to go to you. I had somebody in backstage that wanted to come on. Coach, if you can click that link again, I'll get you on here. But for Northwestern, man, that was super impressive. For Huff, I mean, for it to be a 1-point game, I don't think, there should be any real consternation about that between two really good teams, like we saw yesterday at the Keep Pounding Classic down at Bank of America Stadium. I still think they're going to be a really good football team for week one. I think, the COT kickoff night fans got a heck of a football game. Oh, that's for dang on sure. All right, Trayvon Gaither. Surprised by that Butler score. Well, funny you say that. Me and producer went to Rolesville versus Butler. And I'm going to tell you something. We were talking on the sideline during the game. And the biggest thing that we take away is I don't think Butler has ever had a loss like this in their history. I mean, when they started that school, it has always been, outside the first year, they have always been a really good team, and that school opened in the late 90s. So we're talking about 25 years of winning football. We'll get more into that. I'm going to bring on Adam Big Eye Shelby, who went down to Shelby in Kings Mountain, and I know he wants to talk about that. So Trayvon, hang on a second.
What's up, Pep?
Driving?
Can you got me?
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Oh, what's going on?
So how was that Shelby Kings Mountain game?
Shelby Kings Mountain game, man. It was fun, man. First off, shout out to Shelby High players and coach staff, Coach Wilbanks, head coach, man. They had a great game plan put together, battled hard for four quarters, and they came out on top in the end. First half, I think it was 10-7. The offense went off the ground. Yeah, they kept fighting, they kept battling. Defense created some turnovers, and they was able to capitalize off those and get some touchdowns.
Yeah. I saw a couple highlights, man. Just like Shelby, Land Farmer was finding that deep ball.
Yeah, couple guys that stood out tonight, man, offensively for Shelby. Like you said, quarterback Land Farmer, he got it going. Sophomore wide receiver Tyler Morgan, I believe he had 3 catches for 2 touchdowns and 100+ yards. Mazay Thompson had some big catches. Emmanuel Collins had some key catches down the stretch. Running back Tristan Tate, I think he maybe had 1 or 2 touchdowns for sure. Rushing, they still haven't picking off the season he had last year, picking up where he left off. Also, I want to give a shout out offensively, freshman center T. Hollifield stepping into his first game on varsity, freshman center.
Wow.
Threw him in the fight against Keith. He held his own, good snaps all night. On the defensive side, man, they flew around. Cornerback Kendrick Raper did a lot of the covering, a lot of guys. Another sophomore that Shelby has. Sophomore Landon Hollifield had a couple key forced fumbles, a big interception late. That was kind of propelled the team. Also, who else was out there balling? Pretty much a lot of guys.
You got a lot.
A lot, yeah. Defensive line. Noah Gardner was coming off the edge, wrecking havoc all night. Your boy linebacker Nick Norris was balling all night, wreaking
One of
havoc.
my favorites. Yep.
And number 12, I'm trying to remember his name. Right, I'm drawing blank now.
That's
Um,
okay. Hey, if you
but
know those guys, tell them to tag me in their film, man. I want to get some light on them.
oh, I got you for sure. Yeah, yeah. Also for Kings Mountain, I want to give a shout out to Jaden Gas, man. Jaden Gas
Mm-hmm.
pretty much carried the load offensively along with the running back Hill that they have. They
Yep.
did a great job. Also defensively, man, Armstrong, I believe is Antonio Armstrong. I want to
Yep.
believe
Mm-hmm.
linebacker DN, man. He's a hell of a player, man. Ball player for Kings Mountain, and man, he's gonna be able to pick up some big time offers this season.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, man. I see you at the Waffle House. That's all right, dude.
Yeah, I'm at the Waffle House, man, trying to get a little something to eat, man. Trying to get something to eat.
Well, go ahead, man. We appreciate you jumping on, man.
Oh yeah, also number 12 name is Tajay. Tajay, man, he balled out. He did a great job making a lot of open field tackles. A lot of big plays by the Shelby team. And Shelby, man, a lot of people was counting them out, man, but they're very young. So if you're gonna get them, you better get them now. But the way those coaches had those kids prepared tonight for 4 quarters to win the game, man, it was unbelievable. It was amazing to see, being a former Shelby player myself.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to the Golden Lions, and I know you're enjoying the big win over Myers Park too.
Yeah, we had a great win last night at Mons Park, man, and yeah, man, we ready to build off that. We didn't finish how we wanted to, but we was able to come away with the dub. So that's always great, man.
All right. Well, Big Eye, have a good weekend, man. I'll see you on Wednesday.
I'll see you Wednesday.
All right, man.
All right.
That's Adam Big Eye Shelby Weber checking in, doing some bonus coverage. Checking out Shelby over Kings Mountain. So back to Butler. So the biggest thing tonight, huge credit goes to Rolesville. Those guys, number one, they're super talented. Number two, they're very well coached. And number three, those guys have been together a long time. And, they have a bad taste in their mouths for how they got, knocked out the playoffs last year. And, they're on a mission. And they played like they're on a mission. You'll see in the highlight package, I'm going to finish it in the morning. But what you'll see in the highlight package is those guys come out and they come out fast. Butler counterpunched a couple times to try to keep the game close, but in the second quarter, it was 26-14. Butler had just scored. And then Rolesville got a big kickoff return, set up a touchdown that pushed it to 33-14. Then they went to a surprise onside kick, scored again. Once it got to 40-14, that's when we started thinking, okay, this is a little out of range here. And then from there, Rolesville, controlled the play. But that second quarter, when Butler got it to within 12, and we kind of felt like, okay, now we're going to have a game here. But Rolesville just snatched that momentum back so fast. They never gave Butler a chance to get their feet under them and get some positive momentum going on both sides of the ball. Butler had good moments on both sides of the ball. Zach Lawrence hit the Quadre Currents on a big 84-yard touchdown pass that cut the lead to 8-7 early in the first quarter. Jaden Williams had a nice about a 30-yard touchdown run. The defense forced an interception in the red zone. So there were spots where Butler, was competitive. But as I said, in that second quarter, in that key sequence, Rolesville took control. They snatched the momentum back from Butler, and then they never let it go from there. For Butler, the good thing is I told, a couple fans stopped me as I was walking out. I said, look, you want this to happen in week one. You don't want this happening, later on in the season. The best time for something like this to happen is now. You can take that film, you can teach, you can learn from it, and then everyone can get on, the same page, and then you move forward from there. There's a saying as a coach, we used to say to players, you're never too high and you're never too low. You want to stay right there in the middle, okay? And I mean, it goes for Rolesville too. They can't, and they're too well coached for this, but they're not going to sit there and say, okay, we've won the state championship because we beat Butler by 50 on the road. No, this is just the start. This is just the start for both of these teams. And we've seen it time and again. Things that happen early in the season, later on in the season, you look back and say, how is that the same team from week one to now? There's exponential progression for all teams out here. No team is going to look the same week one, and then when we get to October, November, it won't be the same for anybody. So, yes, was it surprising? Absolutely. We have never seen Butler, in a score like that in their history that I can remember. And I'm from Charlotte, and I've been here the whole time. But if there's anyone that I'm going to trust to get things going in the right direction, it's Glenwood Furby and it's those coaches, because we've seen it happen year in and year out when they've been together at Chambers. Okay, so I'm not sounding the alarm bells right now. And I think, once we get toward conference play, you're going to see a totally different Butler Bulldog football team. That's for sure. All right. Let's see. Chris Worster, linebacker for Stuart Kramer. Okay. Stuart Kramer had something to prove this year. It was 20-17 at the half versus East Lincoln. Oh, okay. Yeah, East Lincoln got a lot of positive press this season. So, yeah, shout out to you guys, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's good to see, programs like Stuart Kramer progressing in the right direction. And Christopher, you're a heck of a linebacker. I wrote about you on Prep Red Zone. You're doing a great job, man. So keep it up and keep that progression going. That's really good stuff. Let's see. As our Dudley guy, Dudley 53-7 over Page. Yeah, that Dudley offense that's not surprising to see. I saw them in the summer. Then they've got speed. They've got an incredible receiving core. They got athletes all over the place. Shout out to Dudley, man. Great job by them. There's our Clover guy, Armani Bird. He says, we sent Chambers packing 28-20. They didn't want to shake hands after. Oh, man. Well, now let's keep that. Let's keep it in line. Now, South Carolina football always superior. Now, hold on now. That's a debate we can have on our weekly show. But yeah, that's a good win for Clover. We were getting. I might save this. Well, let me say it now. Max Preps is not reliable in games sometimes. We were getting updates on that game, and they were saying Chambers was up 35-12, and I said, well, we got to make sure this is accurate, And then we started reaching out to people, and yeah, then we got, what you're saying right there. But yeah, man, that's a good win for Clover. Chambers still has, talent and key positions, and Coach Wiggins has won, in his tenure at Chambers. So that's a good win. Good win for Clover, man. It's always good when you go 1-0. That's the main deal right there. Trayvon Gaither says Community School Davidson 38-7 over West Iredale and Statesville 36-21 over Alexander Central. All right. Yeah, good wins for both of those programs. Community School of Davidson, that's a really good win for them. I know some people going into that game were thinking West Iredale would push those guys and make it a little bit interesting, but apparently that didn't happen here. Now look at this. Friday Night Fowler, man. What's up, man? It's good to see you. It's good to see you, man. Now I just talked about that Butler Rolesville score, so there you go. James Law back on Huff says heard Huff's defense was banged up and new players. Oh, okay. Okay, well, and that's another. I was talking to someone earlier, and I was, telling them, because we were talking about where teams should rank. We do the rankings on the show every week, and I said if you have injuries and if you have different things happening, it could flip the season, man. and things could get weird. And another point of that is, injuries coming out of scrimmages, injuries coming out of preseason practice. Teams may not have, everything lined up the way they want to. So that's interesting. Good insight right there. All right, Coach Peavey from Corvian. Corvian getting on the board with a win in the season opener, 47-8 over Harding. Good job for Corvian. I think that was a home game for Corvian, so always good to win in front of your home fans for the first time. Coach, let me know who stood out in that game, and I'll try to shine a light on them. Either on the show and Pet Man's players, or on Prep Red Zone on some different things we do during the season over there. If you guys don't know, I write for Prep Red Zone North Carolina, one of the 2 writers in the state of North Carolina. So we always have different ways of trying to get pub for kids that have good games on Friday night. All right, Coach Pringle from the Cabarrus Stallion says Mountain Island 55, Stallion 6, and a big game for Eli Dempsey. D-line with 5 sacks and a few tackles for losses. Tackles just everywhere. Wow. Okay, Eli, good job, man. If you get the numbers on Eli, shoot them to me, Coach. I'll make sure to get him some recognition, because that's a special night right there. 5 sacks, man. I had 5 sacks my whole career. And Coach also said Hudson Patrick with 3 sacks. All right. Yeah, good job, guys. Good job. Let's see. Oh, there's Kim Watts, our buddy. Barry 10-6 over East Meck. Oh, old school defensive battle right there. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Barry, man. Good win. Good way to start out the season with a big win right there. Defensive coaches got to be happy with that one. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Then the producer who was there with me tonight wants to add in props to Rolesville. They showed up in all phases. Yeah, definitely all phases of the game. I didn't mention their special teams. Well, I think I mentioned one of them, but they were really good on special teams in all phases. I mean, they made a couple field goals. The punts were good. Kickoff game was good. So, but like he echoes what I was saying. It's too early to write off Butler. That's for sure. Yep, Zach, we talked about Morrisville earlier. Very impressive victory for them over Davie County. Tyran Evans, hey, man, I saw you had a beautiful touchdown. I think it was early in the game. You caught a hitch and spun outside and took it to the house, man. That was impressive. Impressive, man. Good job. You guys keep hanging in there up at Huff. Just 1 week. You guys, you look very strong, and I still think you guys are gonna be a heck of a team, man. Good stuff right there. All right, Mizzle, football's back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Jason McRory. He is an RGKL fan. I'll put it that way. That's why he's saying Providence starts 0-1 again. The big time rivalry. Jason, what was the final score? I'm looking at Max Preps, and they haven't updated like half of the scores on there. So if you can post the final score, I know it was 13-0 the last I saw it, and just let us know. But shout out to RGKL. They got another strong team this season. Coach Jock and that program are the modicum of consistency year in and year out. They're going to be good. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to challenge for a conference title. So, yeah, good stuff right there. All right, that's our guy Shay Shay Juan. He covered the CLT Kickoff Classic for us, and I know he's going to have some great video of that one. That's an incredible game. I don't know if we talked about it in detail. We'll talk about it a little bit. So Huff was up 44-24 in the second half of this game, and Northwestern came back and scored 21 unanswered points to win. And oh yeah, we did talk about it because I talked about Cameron Vance. Okay, but stay tuned for pictures and video from Shay Juan for that one, and for the Providence RGKL game that we mentioned just a minute ago. Let's see. We got more comments. Man, I can't keep up. All right. Oh, now I did see this score. Yeah, I thank you for verifying it because I wanted to go and check it after this. But yeah, that is a huge win for Ashbrook right there. 29-13 over Forest Hills. Forest Hills, if you guys don't know, I think they made the fourth round of the 2A playoffs last year. Um, and then Ashbrook, there's been a lot of positive momentum being said about the Green Wave and going down. This was at Forest Hills, and the Forest Hills last year came to Ashbrook and really put it on them. So that is a really good win for the Green Wave. Coach, if you got some guys that stand out for the Green Wave, let me know, and we'll try to show them some love. As I said, for some of the other teams that we've talked about. So good stuff right there. Mizzle says Brody Norman is that dude best quarterback in the state. Well, that's a heck of a debate we could have. And also Jamari Farmer is the best defensive player in the country. Oh man. All right, coach. I feel you, man. I feel you. I got you, man. I got you. You guys are getting saucy in the comments, man. Good gracious. Mr. Muhammad says West Charlotte 36, Palisades 6. Wow. There was a lot of consternation out there after West Charlotte lost via scrimmage to Shelby out in Cleveland County in the Jamboree, but I think that's been put to bed for sure. Impressive showing right there, 36-6 over Palisades team. I think is going to be much better overall this season. So, great job to Coach Griner and those West Charlotte Lions. Okay, that final score, 30-18. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Good start of the season to Audrey Kell. All right, we got Jesse Villanueva jumping in. J.M. Robinson 40, Hickory Ridge 6. I had someone text me at halftime of that game, and J.M. Robinson, he told me J.M. Robinson was up 28-0 and pretty much in control. Didn't really feel a lot of pressure from Hickory Ridge. Coach Seidel and those guys are looking really good. They looked good when I saw them last week at their Jamboree. They're very efficient offensively. They have so many weapons. The quarterback, Bissonette. We talk about the receivers and Testa, Burnett, and Rowe. Mr. Watson at running back, is a steady threat. And they got the young running back, Ennis, who can get in there too. But their defense has been together for a long time, and they know the scheme. They know their expectations. They play very well together as a unit. And that's the thing that I love about J.M. Robinson. They're a veteran team. They've been deeper into playoffs. They know the expectations. They don't bow to the pressure. They've been in big games and they've come through. So, that's a really good team right there that is poised to make a run in the playoffs again this year. So, good job to the Bulldogs up in Cabarrus County. All right, Cyrus Lane staying in Cabarrus County. West Cabarrus 28, Northwest Cabarrus 21. Yeah, now Cyrus, this one, was a surprise to me. Our buddy, the chat administrator, also does a pick'em, and I honestly picked Northwest Cabarrus, as did the majority of people in the pick'em. So it's not just me, but. Congratulations to Coach Henson and West Cabarrus. When we talk about West Cabarrus, we talk about quarterback Jared Street. When they have been successful, it's usually when he has a good game. I haven't seen any numbers on him yet, but I'm willing to bet that he probably had a good game here. But the most impressive thing to me is the West Cabarrus defense holding Northwest Cabarrus down. I really respect Coach Eric Mormon and what he does with his Northwest Cabarrus team year in and year out. So that is a huge win for West Cabarrus, and it shows program progression, in my opinion. As I said earlier, you can't get too high or too low when you're looking at week one, but at the same time, if you see exponential progression in your program, and that's what I think this reflects right here for Wesker Bears, that is a really good sign, especially for a young school. So I'm excited to see what Wesker Bears can do and grow from this and keep moving forward. For sure, right here. Yeah, Jackson, we talked about Community School Davidson with that big win over West Iredale. Congratulations to you guys. Doing a good job right there. All right. We're going to go to the scoreboard and we'll run through. So we talked about Northwestern and Huff. Lake Norman Charter. I should refresh this. Let me refresh it. Hopefully we've got an update here. If I can switch screens. You guys that have a 2-screen setup, you know what I'm talking about here because it's not always easy. So we're gonna refresh. No, not many updates. Okay, we'll go with it. All right. So if you guys see the screen, chime in on the score if it's missing. Let us know what happened in that game. But we talked about Northwestern Huff 45-44. Lake Norman Charter over West Columbus 48-8. Congratulations to those guys. I know Charlotte Christian defeated Cox Mill. That was on a stream. I believe that was like 56-7 was the final there. Mentioned Community School Davidson, obviously. Concord, big win over Piedmont, 37-7. Congrats to Coach Shepard and those guys. I know Reagan defeated Marvin Ridge because we talked about that off camera with a couple people. In the Battle of Park Road, Charlotte Catholic over South Mecklenburg, 26-10. Looks like Sun Valley defeated Central Bears 38-8. Wouldn't be in a third overtime if that's the case. Olympic in the Air Traffic Classic picking up a very close win, 21-20 over West Mecklenburg. Oh, good game right there. Valentine Ridge hosting their first home game in school history. Fort Mill got the best of them though, 56-0. Hopewell 54-0 over Garinger. Cuthbertson big win over Parkwood, 42-0. Our buddy Kenneth McClamrock back on the gridiron. Porter Ridge gave him a rude welcome, 45-7. Porter Ridge over Rocky River. We talked about Corvian over Harding, 47-8. A.L. Brown, I saw this on Twitter. They had to block a field goal to secure the win over West Rowan, 28-26. Some old South Piedmont 3A conference foes going at it in week one. Good game right there. Congrats to the Wonders. Trinity Christian bouncing back after the loss to Providence Day last week, 39-12 over Metrolina Christian. Lake Norman 23-0 over North Mech tonight. Mount Pleasant over Carson 31-14. We talked about Berry defeating East Mech 10-6. They talked about Wesker Bears right there. There's Ashbrook over Forest Hills. There's Robinson over Hickory Ridge. South Iredale, big win over North Iredale, 35-14. The Upstate Blythewood over Nation Ford, 44-6. Monroe Central Davidson. Monroe winning 32-7. Maiden Oliver Fred T. Ford, 30-0. Cheraw McBee, Upstate of South Carolina. Cheraw winning. Charlotte Latin, good win for them. I'm there, 2-0. There you go. 28-14 over Mitchell. North Stanley, 28-6 over Anson County. Salisbury, 20-12 over North Davidson. We know Statesville defeated Alexander Central. Bunker Hill, 35. Freedom, 28 in a good football game. The Greenville Hurricanes defeating Thomas Jefferson, 25-21. Close one, Spartanburg over my buddy Bobby Collins at South Point, 26-25. Good football game there. Looks like Country Day going to 2-0, 21-11 over Swain County. Burns over Forest View, 32-7. Cherryville getting the win, 20-18 over Avery County. Good job, Iron Man. There you go. West Henderson all over Newton Conover, 51-33. South Point Red Raiders, 28-6 over Lincolnton. And we got Indian Land, close one over York, 22-20. And there's Shelby Kings Mountain. We had Big Eye Shelby on, talking about that one. Hickory all over High Brighton, 48-0. Bandies over St. Stephen's, 29-14. Great game, 71st-35. Richmond, 28. That was a little eye-opener right there. Richmond might not be too far away. 71st is a heck of a football team. out of Fayetteville. Northern ran over Eastern ran 46-6. Top Ridge goes down to Chapin 47-37. North Lincoln 27-14 over West Lincoln. And we talked about Providence and RGKL, with RGKL picking up that one 30-18. All right, couple more comments. Jason McCrory says, buddy coach with the South Mac says the final was 32-3 Catholic. Okay. All right, well, that's what I believe you. You would know. All right, let's see. Darrell Chapman says the running back for Bunker Hill is tough. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. He's on one of my lists for Prep Red Zone to dig deeper in at some point this season. So I totally agree with you. All right, Cyrus Lane says West Cabarrus. Yeah, we talked about that in the Cabarrus County preview we did a few weeks back. That they were a team to keep an eye on because they were competitive in so many games last year. So, yeah, that's a good observation right there. All right. That being said, we're going to end the show right here. If you didn't catch us at the start, the playback will always stay up. You can go back and take a look at it. We'll have highlights from Roseville Butler out tomorrow morning. Shay Juan at Shay Shot him on Instagram. He will have stuff from CLT kickoff night between Huff and Northwestern, and then Providence and RDK. But then Wednesday, we'll be back 8 o'clock right here on these same outlets for Football Focus Weekly. Week 2, we'll have updated polls for the Dirty Dozen, our regional poll, the CMS Best of Last, which ranks all the CMS schools from best to last. And then we'll have a topic discussion, and then we'll preview the Week 2 games. We're back. Football is back, baby. Be so happy. I'm so glad being back on the sideline, being able to talk with you guys about the best game out there and to be able to promote all the kids and coaches and programs out here that do such a great job day in and day out. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Wednesday night, Football Focus Weekly, 8 p.m., these same outlets right here. Have a good night.